Good evening, everyone. Myself, Shweta Jain, Regional Council Member, and I'm pleased to welcome you all on the series of WOW, Women on Wednesday. Today, we have come up with another interesting topic, evolving role of CFO in today's era. Before moving ahead, I request everyone to please put your hand on your heart for the ICI motto.
य एषः सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एषः सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Thank you. Friends, you all will agree that of lately we are hearing too much about virtual CFO services, CFO services, and in today's era, we are hearing that also that apart from some traditional work which was CFO were used to provide services, apart from that traditional approach, there are a lot many things which we can do for the organization, and we can play a role, a complete business solution provider rather than just fulfilling the compliances. So today we are going to hear on this subject from our very own Madam Falguni Gandhi, Madam. She is expert on the subject, and I'm very sure with her rich experience, we all will be benefited. So, Falguni, Madam, first of all, thank you so much for accepting our invitation and agreed to be with all of us today. Really, thank you. And I would like to welcome you at the platform of WIRC. So, thank you, Madam. So, we have with us a coordinator for this series of today's session, Hina Bora and Bhavna Maheshwari. Thank you, both of you, Bhavna, Hina, for accepting and coordinating this session for all of us. Thank you. Really, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shweta
Um,
ma'am. Thank you so much for always your encouragement.
Thank you. Really, thank you. And it's always a pleasure. See, this series is for the women by the women. And we always ensure that the series has started with the intention to promote women chartered accountant as a faculty member. We time to time invited suggestions and feedback from our women members that if they want to keep one particular session on the particular subjects, so we have invited suggestions for that. We have received so many suggestions from them, and according to that, we finalize the subject. So first, that is really great going. Since 3 years we are running this series and getting very good feedback from all women chartered accountants and also a male participants also, because this series is open to join for male members also. Second, we have invited the people who are interested, the members, women chartered accountant who are interested to become a speaker, or they wanted to become a coordinator for this series. And again, we got a lot of inquiries, lot of names. They volunteered themselves, and we tried कि हम उनको हर session में कैसे accommodate कर सकते हैं. And I'm really happy that lot of members, women members, are coming ahead to help us in these sessions. Thank you so much for all of for who have responded positively on this sessions. So we have launched one Punashya portal also in this year, where we are inviting if any women chartered accountant who are looking for job, maybe on flexi working or work from home, so they can enroll themselves on this portal and trying to help them and trying to become a bridge between them and the employer who are looking for the same. So, if anyone of you, all the participants, if anyone knows someone who are looking for in such need, please reach out to us. Feel free to reach out to us at any point of time. So, will not take much time. Without taking much time, I'll request to Bhavna Maheshwari to introduce our today's speaker first, and then we'll hand over to the Falguni madam. Over to you, Bhavna.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. And it gives me immense pleasure to, on behalf of WIRC, to introduce CA Falguni Gandhi, madam. And she has already so many achievements I can see. So with this, I will just, I can summarize only. She is a professional strategist, planner, visionary, and she's a qualified chartered accountant. She has successfully completed CFO program from IIM Calcutta, and her venture CFO Focus was recently incubated at IIM Bangalore by Goldman Sachs. She has more than 25 years of experience as key management personnel in varied industries. Then she's currently the co-founder of CFO Focus, a CFO advisory firm which boasts clients across diversified industries. She has immensely contributed to companies in retail, D2DC, e-com, travel industry, media, real estate, NBFC, startups, growth centrics, SME, family offices, and the list goes on. Her rich experience also includes fundraising, listing on SME Exchange Board, transformation of business finance, and effectively linking finance to strategy of the business, among others. So we have a very diversified introduction of the ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We are literally pleasure to have you today for this series. We welcome you.
Over to you, Falguni madam.
Thank you so much.
मैडम आपके बाजू में देखिए लैपटॉप है दूसरा किसी चालू किए आप उसको बंद कर दीजिए पहले
Yeah, unmute her. Hello, are you all able to hear me now?
यस मैम
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shweta ma'am, and the introducer, Bhavna ma'am, for speaking so high volumes for me. Though I am a moderate person between you all, as we all are chartered accountants and we are women, so we try to bring in as much as we could to the table so that we could bring more and more meaning to our life. So I'm here today once again in the WOW series, which I really appreciate of the Institute. It is a very, very good platform. And Wednesday, Women on Wednesdays, I really like the topic, the name kept for it, the branding that has been done for it. And it truly immensely signifies a very strong step in bringing women to be coordinators, to be speakers, and a good platform for women to seek topics of their where they need to seek more knowledge and expertise. So I think that it's a very good platform, and thank you so much for inviting me. I will start my session. Today's session is about CFO, how a role of a CFO is required as a joining the dots. So are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
मैम देखिए आ रहा है
One second.
ना कैमरा ऑन कर दो बस कैमरा ऑन है ना आपका बंद है आपका ही बंद है कैमरा कैमरा
I'm very sorry for the disturbance and interruption. I hope my screen is visible. I start with the topic of the evolving role of the CFO in joining the dots. Is my screen visible?
सर स्लाइड शो करिए ना
Sorry. ये
Slide show.
It is visible, ma'am.
ये बंद करो, ये मेरा है यहाँ पे. So, greetings to all of you wonderpreneurs once again, all the women members of my fraternity. Once again, a very good afternoon. I'm going to cover in this session that as a woman entrepreneur, how is our journey, how a woman is a wonderpreneur. Every entrepreneur woman is a wonderpreneur, and how a journey as a leader is very important for the topic of a CFO which we are talking. Setting the context of the role of CFO in joining the dots. What do we mean by that? How as a CFO I can position finance as a key driver of overall business success, integrate diverse business functions, case studies, summary, question and answers. This is what I'm going to cover in this session as a woman entrepreneur.
Falguni ma'am, I think you have to do slideshow.
I have to do slideshow. I have done slideshow. I've not shared.
It's not full screen as of now.
One second. Okay, over there it's so should I do full screen sharing? Wait. I think that will be much better. Share screen. Entire screen.
You can somehow now it's visible, right?
Okay, so this is the topic that I'm going to cover. Now, as a woman entrepreneur, the journey of a wonderpreneur and a journey as a leader. Now, you all will agree with me that as a woman entrepreneur, we definitely have much more to do than generally what men would have to do. Why am I saying so? Because a woman, how much ever successful and how much ever career successful she is also a main driver of the family. She's a main driver of the social status outside the home. She also has a different avatar as an intimate me. So a woman goes through a lot of challenges while pursuing the career. So it's not like they will also take several breaks. So as a woman entrepreneur, a journey of a wonderpreneur is that what are your avatars? You are a family avatar, you have a professional avatar, you have a social avatar, public avatar, and an intimate me avatar. So while doing this, it's really like, I wouldn't say that it would be less than a goddess who has 8 hands and who is multitasking between the hands. So I think you all should give credit to yourselves that you all are doing such a professional, wonderful journey, because it means a lot. Definitely means a lot, to admire. And while we are doing this, I would like to say that in a professional avatar, when a woman is there, do not please expect. One second. What do you mean? Do not expect. As a wonderpreneur, as a woman entrepreneur, family avatar, when I'm doing a professional avatar, I have to not take any concessions. Do not expect any concessions. If you have to reach in a meeting on a time, please reach on a time. Also, secondly, in your professional avatar, you need to knowledge is what is going to make you more shine. So try to be with your own fraternity in conferences, seminars. Try to be more and more over there with them, so that you are able to be in touch with your profession in whatever way, whether you're working as an industry, whether you're doing your own CFO practice or you're doing your own CA practice, you are in whichever field. Just try to be by you joining seminars, by being with like-minded people in your professional side, you can be updated with the subjects, and only that is going to make you shine. So it is always said that think like a man, do like a woman, and work like a professional. So this is what I would say. And also, as a CFO, it is very essential to have leadership qualities. When I say leadership qualities, it is a collaborative leadership skill that we need to have, where we need to possess. Okay, collaborative leadership skill is something that a leader takes together everybody in the organization and moves ahead. So whether it's all the leaders of the organization who are driving different forces, a CFO is somebody who will, with his financial wisdom, take those leaders also together and demonstrate a collaborative leadership. That's a very essential skill of CFO that's right now expected. And you can see that more and more CFOs are evolving into CEO roles. So they are more and more diving into CEO roles, is because that they are having, their journey is become more of a collaborative leadership. So this is a very important skill that you all need to collaborate. You all think that finance head, so all departments will take approval from finance for various things. But however, even as a CFO, as a finance leader, it is your role also to take everybody signed in your decision. As a finance, your finance decision should be signed in by all of them collaboratively. So we have rightly said that it is leadership is a very important skill that you all will have to forego. Setting the context of the role of a CFO in joining the dots. So as I mentioned, he needs to be collaborative, and also he or she needs to leverage their knowledge of financial knowledge with respective domains of business handled by each leader. And example I will give you. So the evolving role of the CFO as a dot joiner is about seeing the bigger picture. So what is dot joiner? Dot joiner is seeing the bigger picture. Like I'll give you an example that we see payroll cost. Now, what do you see as a finance person? What do you see in a payroll cost? You will say that, okay, I will see whether it's benchmarked, what is the percentage to sales ratio, whether how much percent is it forming, whether the payroll is, a benchmark to other industry, standards, and various other things. So we take payroll as a cost center. However, the bigger picture as a CFO is that same payroll cost, we bifurcate into number of divisions, roles, departments, and see that how many people are drivers, how many people are mid-level management, how many people are bottom-level management. Okay, then break them up into processes and understand that for each process, what are the number of people and number of things, and then in each you try to see that whether you are able to optimize things to evolve on a more better and understandable data that you could share with a roadmap for human capital, building a human capital. So it will involve everything, driving a very superb incentive policy for the human capital so that all your team members are highly motivated, ensuring that you do not have too much of manpower in back end, and you have very less people driving in sales. So you would think as a CFO would think not from finance angle, but he will think beyond that. That can I backend automate it and put this money into bringing more salespeople so that they could bring in more sales to me. So it is the CFO's role is now evolving, and I know by the end of the discussion, you all will tell me that you all will ask me a question that then what is the difference between a CFO and a CEO? That also may come. So hold on that question. You may get the answers as we drive along. So evolving the role of a CFO as a dot joiner is about seeing a bigger picture. Now, going further, business environments, they are becoming continuously very highly complex and also with very rapid changes, right? So CFO is required to holistically approach a unified strategy that not only strengthens finance, but overall health of an organization. I just gave you an example of human capital. So a CFO is required to holistically approach a unified strategy. What is the meaning of that? Say, suppose if he is taking a decision of a accounting package, I'm giving you an example in a finance. Okay, all CFOs are responsible that what kind of accounting package will suit to your business, you please implement. Okay, he is also in charge of inventory. We want to have a inventory module and inventory software. So please guide us. So he will in charge. But as a CFO, now you have to have a unified strategy for your entire business. You cannot stand alone decide what in accounts you want tally and there are. So your decision would be earlier that how do I record my documents correctly? How do I give a MIS input? How do I do a books of accounts? And I have my tally and I have my inventory system. But a unified system would mean that he will go extra mile to see that what is the point of sale that is used, is the point of sale some other system, what are the kind of data that are fetch on the other department heads, and how he could have an integrated system with the inventory and accounting system talking to each other, so that there could be a well connected roadmap which could signify a unified strategy that not only strengthens finance but also strengthens the other departments like inventory, keeps them a tight control, it is always matched with your accounts, and it also embeds the point of sale, that is a collection system. If there is any collection system or something, it's also controlled in that way. Like I'll give you an e-commerce example. And e-commerce companies, many times they are also working with their own website. They are selling on their website. Then they are using third-party market platforms. So we have accounting softwares which directly pull information and sales from these platforms. And the accounting software is also integrated with the inventory system. So the orders come from the website. It goes to the inventory system automatically. Inventory system dispatches it. The information about the sale is passed on to account system and the reconciliations happen. So a fully integrated system. This is how you take a decision. So this is a small example. Same way marketing strategy. So, more and more business environment is becoming complex. Okay. And changes are so rapid. Where you are doing a B2C format, you have to change to a B2B model. Because internet and everything has come and the middlemen have gone away. Instead of B2B, you are going to B2C. So earlier you were dealing in wholesale, now you are going direct to the client because the middlemen have gone away. And it's all internet and you can reach your customer directly. So because of this highly complex and changing rapid changes, it is very important to have a very unified strategy that not only strengthens finance but overall health of an organization. So how as a CFO I can position finance as a key driver of overall business success? How can I do this? So bridging finance and strategy traditionally, earlier CFOs were focused on managing only compliances and finances. But now they are expected to integrate financial insights with broader strategic decisions. How is that? Is that by becoming a coordinator, joining the dots, a dot joiner between the strategy of the company, the goals of the company, and the operational efficiency, financial data, marketing, insights, customer insights, and all this. So there is a need for CFO to connect financial management with broader business strategy, operational performance, risk technology, and innovation. So as a CFO, you need to connect to the financial management data which you have accumulated. You have the knowledge of that because you're sitting on a finance department. You have a more better knowledge of the financial management. Okay, and you have a business strategy also in place. So you have to link that with the operational performance, risk, technology, and innovation. So how do you do this? You have to bridge the finance and strategy. So first you have to find out that your business, what kind of strategy it has for the next 5 years or the next year. What are their short-term strategy? What are their long-term strategy? So you know that if you want to grow in B2B, you want to grow in B2C, whether the company is looking at more geographical expansions, whether the company is looking at exporting and also having, the local business as it is. So what is the strategy of the company? That's very important. Based on that strategy, it is based on that strategy, it is having to, based on that strategy, it is required to bridge the finance, means bring the finance angle to the strategy. So every decision it is doing creates more connected strategy by analyzing how business elements such as cost management, profitability, and risk are interconnected to various strategy decisions. Sometimes you may feel that I want to go for exports, but your cash flow may not be permitting it. So you have to get your finance insights to say that, okay, if we start exports, maybe we could only send the first consignment, but by the time the money comes for the second consignment, the rolling may not happen. Or there may be more on inter-foreign exchange things, you could bring out certain aspects. There could be more on vendor insights that you could bring in. There could be more on a lot of intersection on risk managements that you could bring in, that these are the risk things you could model out. So a lot of analysis is required now by a CFO. It is not a simple mathematical calculation. Lot of analysis goes into whether this model I should approach this export model or not. So leveraging the data for insight is very, very important and critical. Very, very important. They not only manage the financial data, but also connect it with other forms of business intelligence and customer data, market data. What is your, you need to drive the digital transformation, as I told you, accounting, inventory management, your, all kind of other operational risk, also, statutory compliances and risk. So all these operational metrics need to come in. Also, you should have somewhere that where all this is intersecting and how an optimized performance with good efficiency and reduced cost can come across the organization. So this is the task of a CFO. And how does it do this? Magnum task is by ensuring that it is always joining the dots and not only relying on the financial data. He's also going to customer insight. He's also going to geographical insight. He's also going to the risk management angle. He's also going into technology aspect. So he is having a 360-degree view of what topic he has in hand, what question he has in hand. He's having a 360-degree view to understand, also embed the other leaders with them. So other leaders sign in is also very important. And everybody is not a finance person. So while you understand what their process is, in a short way, of course, in a way where you understand how to bring in efficiency, they will in turn they will have a business in their mind. So how do you convince your finance to them? How do you make them responsible? It's all a collaborative leadership skill which a CFO must have. And he has to ensure that his business is more and more having an enhanced risk management strategy. So, as I mentioned to you, the export licenses, what are the conditions in doing an export, whether they are going to meet all of that, what is the risk of, doing businesses in certain geographical areas where there are lots of permissions required. So all this put together, it should have a very sorted out risk management policy where all risks inherent as well as obvious risks are all listed down and are properly strategized. In any business, and no business can run without risk. So they have to take risk. But the moment you know the risk and you are wanting to control it, and you know that it is there and how you will be able to manage it, then the perspective is very different than some risk coming up to you suddenly in your business and you are not completely aware. So tracking a risk management policy also has one tracker of you continuously seeing your inherent risks and keeping on grading them as to how close do you think they are coming. Then improving performance through collaboration. So more and more, as I told you, leadership skills, collaborative skills, all this through that you bring the entire organization to more performance level. Okay, you take HR also into your collaborative leadership. You tell HR also that we have broken down the HR data into so many things, and now based on that, so many people are above the benchmark, above the benchmark salary, or few people who are very, very critical to the organization. How are we tracking their continuous involvement? How are we mapping their growth path? And what are the incentive policies? So you ensure that you have a highly motivated team to deliver the efficiencies that you require in your business. Then focus on ESG and sustainability. All of you know that sustainable finance is becoming so much important. It has become one of the very latest topics in finance, sustainable finance. Okay. Now, what do we mean by sustainable finance? It is putting money in a business which supports global warming. Okay. So you are more and more putting your your business is coming towards more and more environment friendly, social friendly, geographically it is becoming more and more sustainable. Okay, you are not using plastics in your business. You are using reproducible, remanufactured things which could be remanufactured, which could be completely gradable. So more and more your carbon prints are coming lesser and lesser, and also you have a roadmap where you are defining that every year by doing what all measures you will reduce your carbon print. So all this leads to a sustainable business. And when you have a sustainable business to pitch in, the finance that is given is called as sustainable finance. So more and more companies are becoming, investors are becoming very conscious on ESG and sustainability. And I think it is a very big driver which you should not ignore as a CFO. Even if your company is not into manufacturing something which has carbon prints, does not matter. It does not mean that ESG is not applicable for you. It is applicable for you. You have to ensure that you're not using much of plastic in your packaging material. When you're dispatching things, you're not using plastic tapes which cannot be reused. So lots of other things are there in that which we have to ensure. So ESG and sustainability is something very important that a CFO has to connect the dots and see that at the same time when he's doing cost optimization, there is some focus on ESG and sustainability plan, and on year they get better and better on it, and he has some story to tell on that level. Now, going further, a CFO, of course, is a very strategic partner. When I say strategic partner, means going into exports is a strategy decision. You all will all agree with me. Like that, there will be many decisions like I want to go for a full ad in TV, which is a very huge cost, vis-a-vis my digital ads, which I'm doing as of now. So it's a strategic decision because it's going to involve a huge money, and it's going to decide your future of your people who are going to, customers who are going to join your brand. It's a long-term investment. It is an investment that will help you fetch customers over a long period, and your brand will be positioned. So in all these decisions, which are key critical to a business, a CFO is a strategic partner. Okay. And it is always sounded through the CFO about his feedback or his or her feedback on the strategy. Also, always he is a lot of data-driven decision maker. So as I told you, friends, now it is not only P&L account and balance sheet. It is about lot of data churning. You need to have lots and lots of data. Like I'll give you an example. When we were doing vendor negotiations, what a CFO could come out with is that, do you know which category, subcategory, and variety this vendor is providing, and how many similar vendors are also providing, and what is the total cost including freight that has been paid by the client? And to put it further, which vendor stock is fast moving in the sales data is also very, very important, very, very important. So all this, how we are connecting the dots. My decision was, data-driven decision maker was that vendor negotiation. But in the vendor negotiation, I got in a lot of data points. I told them that, okay, which vendor stock is moving very fast. So I know which vendor to emphasize on negotiation. I know that which vendor stock is not getting sold and I have to return most of the stock. So the return data is also plowed in. I know that which vendor's data is having a lot of rejections. And I know that the quality is getting compromised. I know which vendors have given me in a year. If I ordered 15 times from him last year, at least 10 times he has delayed the order. And which vendors are on time. So when I'm ranking the vendors, when I'm having so much strategic data right from the start of point I order from him to the point when it's getting sold, and which is the most efficient margin that I'm selling the stock at. So which vendor stock I can sell it at a better margin. So now with all this data, I know exactly what is my negotiation point. What is my discussion point? Because finance is also not about all financial negotiation. It could be a lot of terms and conditions. It could be a lot of that, if you do not give me on time, this is the penalty I'm going to serve you. If there are going to be returns more than this much percentage, then this is my processing time, my everything is getting wasted. So this is what I'm going to, penalty I'm going to levy. So lots of things are there. So when I'm saying a data-driven decision maker, it is that you are sitting in a vendor negotiation with a lot of data insight. So you can see all the divisions are here. And then with everything, there is a technology integration. As I told you, accounting talks with the inventory software. You can get good information. Okay, the digital transformation of business is something that the CFO is increasingly involved in, implementing the technology solutions like ERP, AI, and automation. Okay, CEOs help streamline the operations with improved accuracy and also efficiency across the organization. So more and more the CFO is involved into connecting these dots and how the technology is intersecting with every strategy decision of theirs. So involving and integrating technology with various other functions. Risk management and compliance. So how risk management and compliance is taking a broader role and interconnected. Where are they getting interconnected? In financial, in operational, in regulatory, and how we are ensuring that we are compliant with mitigating these potential threats. How we are planning to track the inherent risks which we know and we are going ahead with. How close the risks are to us. Do we do a grading on a timely basis and then update? Because what may be not a threat to yesterday for you, because it would maybe far-fetched, today it may look very near. So are we having a system whereby we track all this in the risk management compliance calendar? Do we keep on checking? Do we have a periodic check? So it could be a financial, operational, or regulatory risk. So we need to understand this very, very clearly. Then, as I mentioned to you, the customer and market insight, it's very, very important to know the customer behavior, market trends, financial performance, forecast, setting pricing strategies. How do you set pricing strategies until you do not know your customer, your market insight? Whether the customer is a repeated customer, how much did I pay to get that customer in my business? All these are insights. Once I get the insights and I join the dots, I'm able to decide on the pricing strategy. Okay, how important is my product? How the customer has come, how many times and bought after that? Has it converted immediately? Has it a repeated customer? How much money did I pay to get that customer in my business? What was the trend of the customer? Like how many items did he pick up? Is he every time picking up a new item or he's only requiring the same item? If he's requiring the same item, what is the time gap that he's coming back? So lot of these influences the pricing strategies, and also accordingly the product development team will also work, because they will come to know the more customer insight and data they will come to know, they will be bringing in more products that are suitable to the customer, and will bring them a larger AOV. So as I mentioned to you, environmental, social and governance, when as a CFO you are working with the department, you ensure that your business is more and more environment, social and governance based, and it's more sustainable. So for ESG, you can have a ESG matrix, ensure that it is positioned for a long-term success. And ESG is not overnight game, so it's not going to kind of, but you will have to have that it is in the long term, you have a long term objective, and that ESG matrix will show that how the business is currently positioned and how in the long term its success is going to define that it's going to be more and more ESG compliant. So what initiatives you are going to take as a CFO and ensure that slowly year after year this gets corrected. So once you have a plan and a vision, also people appreciate. Talent and culture management. As I mentioned to you that do you have a highly motivated team? So CFO will say that now that is a job of an HR. Why should I be bothered whether there is a highly motivated team? Because I will manage my finance. But it doesn't work like that. If you do not have a highly motivated team, it will ultimately affect somewhere in your costing, because you'll have to employ more and more people to get that output. You may not get required sales that is required for the business. Your operational efficiency would be bad. So that is the reason why the CFO has to join the dots to see that it plays a very important role in building the talent and culture management of the company. It is a collaborative leadership with the HR team and the CEO to ensure that more and more uh, culture management happens in the company, and more talent is given growth, and it's given a good environment whereby the skills and talents are appreciated on a time to time basis. what is what are the actions CFOs help drive value, mitigate risk, and create a more agile and forward looking business model? So by doing all of this, what are the actions that we need to do is, so we need to build a lot of performance management and KPIs, key performance areas. So you start with that. This will actually give a finance person, if any company you are joining as a CFO, I'm sure this is the first thing that you will want to see. That what are the key performance indicators that have been given to a department and to individuals, and what is the performance management that an organization is doing? Okay, so what is the performance management that an organization is doing? So you will have KPIs for marketing department, KPIs for HR department, KPIs for accounts department, for inventory department, and various so on and so forth. So whether they all are getting linked to a common strategy. Okay, now if the common goal and objective of the company is to grow 100% every year, okay, and become EBITDA positive from this so and so to so and so, and its strategy is at least to board 1 lakh customers, new customers. So what are the strategies of the customers? And sorry, somebody said something. So what are the strategies of the company to onboard 1 lakh, say suppose if they have a vision of onboarding 1 lakh new customers, and they have a strategy that we want to geographically also grow five locations. So our CFO is somebody who will ensure that this big vision of the company is embedded in the performance management and KPI roles of every department. Okay, and you're measuring your people with the, say suppose if the marketing department, they have to be measured clearly with the number of customers that they add on. Their performance will directly be linked because company's vision is to enroll 1 lakh new customers every year. So same way, if you know geographically you have to grow, their business development team has a very clear target that this year you have to grow in 5 locations. Okay, and same way human resource department would have. So each one's KPI will finally embed to a bigger vision of the company, which will also go to link the disparate areas of your business. It may be very disparate, but it will link all of those. Also, it will integrate the financial insights with strategic decision making, bring in a lot of operational efficiency, risk management, and even cultural alignment. Because now everybody is talking the same language. No longer you feel that the marketing guy is doing something that the finance guy is completely doing something different. He's also understanding that he has to get in new customers, he has to get maximum impressions, he has to ensure that his footfalls are very high, he has to ensure that conversions are coming to a top. He's very clearly defined on his roles, which are clearly going to get you your top line and bottom line. So now everybody is talking the same language. The operational people know that they have to process so much in a given time period. Okay, risk management is also very clearly defined. Cultural alignment is there between all of that. Silent Gardana. Joining various data sets from functions across for evaluation of strategy and lead transformation. So joining various data sets from functions across evaluation of strategy and lead transformation. As I mentioned to you, we can completely transform how we are doing things. Okay, and e-commerce operations could be fully automized. So there is no manual intervention. Your logistic department is just, operation department is just getting the packing list and sending things out. Your other things are really sorted out in a very neat way. There is no manual intervention. That same way you are operating in a factory warehouse. You have all the data entry that is happening when you receive the stock. You have pushed it on to the vendor. So the vendor, you have given him a login ID and password of your website. He logs in, he puts all the data, and the data is pushed to you. When he brings the stock, you just open that data in the PO in your system through the digital form only. So there is no paperwork at your place. You are able to in the goods in a very efficient time. You do not have a workforce at your warehouse, and you have somebody who is very agile team who is sitting there and just doing everything on digital. So it is joining various data sets from functions and also leading the transformation. Who will lead the transformation? As a CFO, it is you who will lead the transformation. If there are any good machinery that is there to get the operational efficiency in a more better way, you will have to do a lot of tests and R&D and find out that if I could do the same process in a more automated way. Okay, is the QC possible in a more automated way? Quality control requires people, but there are few quality controls machines that have come in that have replaced human beings. So what happens is that in that case it becomes more faster, and also the accuracy level is very high. So you are connecting various business functions and data sources, creating a more integrated and forward-looking approach to the management. So we are thinking about something in future that today I have only 2 showrooms. Tomorrow I will have 50 showrooms. So how am I going to manage it? Are my same people going to, today I'm overseeing everything. Tomorrow I may not be able to oversee because I'm growing. I want to grow to a speed which is very high. So then you need to have your operations in such a way that they are more standardized and they are more following SOPs, and they are something that even if 3 new joinees come today, they are able to read that policy and understand how to run the department. This is called as going ahead. So how do you create a more forward-looking approach to management rather than, always doing micromanagement? So the CFO drives a lot of value and becomes, it also creates a more agile and forward-looking model. When I say agile, what is the meaning of agile? Agile is something that is more, very adapt to changes. You can adapt to changes in a very quick way. If somebody says, no, I want to from tomorrow also track my designs because I am getting 90% repeated customers. So you know that in your SKU, there will be one slot in the end you will put for design number so that he can track each design number. Then you will ask him, are you going to put images and are you going to do the design number? Then who will do the photography? Is it going to be done by the vendor or you all? So how is it going to happen? So you have a business model that is very adaptable to changes, because as I told you, it is a very complex environment outside and we are running for very thin margins. So it needs to be a very adaptable model. So I will just give you a few examples of how an integrated diverse business function ensures greater efficiency, agility and long-term value creation. So in technology, a CFO is ensuring that your financial, your operations and your everything has a good intersection. Your finance technology is talking to each other, and it is overall any automation, AI or anything, the digital transformation that you're bringing is overall reducing cost and bringing in more efficiency in terms of operations, in terms of financial efficiency. So your role as a CFO in defining those transformation processes, digital transformation processes is very key. And also one very important thing that has come up is also about cyber security. Also your data, how you are going to store it in the, on the cloud. So your cloud storage has become more and more important. So a CFO is always a custodian of the data. Earlier, the data used to be only on our server. So there was a backup that was taken and that was it. But now all our data is on the global, this cloud. So how do cloud storage happen? What is the backup for cloud? How do I ensure that there is security? All this is a very, very important angle that a chief financial officer is now facing and has to define along with the experts of technology. They need not know everything themselves. I may not know everything about cyber security, but at least I know one common definition that I want my data to be safe. Now, how many people are access to my data? Where is my data backup going to be? How is the data compromised? What are the risks that I have taken, measures I have taken to ensure that that risk is not there? Is all the simple questions that we from finance angle have to ask and ensure that all those are covered. All the risk parameters of what wrong could happen, we have to list down. And we have to ensure that we are defending each one of them with a proper strategy and proper solution along with the IT guy. So IT expert, whoever is the IT expert. So for everything, a CFO need not be an expert, but a CFO's role is to collaboratively lead things so that they could come to a effective solution. Like a CFO's role is to be creating more connected strategy. When I say he's involved in strategy, so more connected strategy, when only cost management every time I'm talking does not make sense. I have to integrate cost management with profitability, with the risk, that if I take higher risk, more profitability, if I take lower risk, low profitability, how fast my risk is going to come. Also technology integration, lot of strategy also has a lot of intersections. So one needs to be able to join the dots. Then CFO play a very important role to optimize company's workforce. I have mentioned to you all that employee engagement, they ultimately create a culture that drives both financial success and organizational health. Because ultimately your employees will tell your health about your organization. So you are not only responsible for financial success, you are also responsible for organizational health of your organization, which is defined by EBITDA profit you are driving, but at the same time also how your human capital in the company is motivated and how their culture is fitting in. So he plays an important role to optimize company's workforce, which is this way which I told you. So these are few examples I gave, like in sales and marketing, also customer insight. You are understanding the pricing that I'm arriving at, product development. So sales and marketing will also have a lot of things which a CFO can do. Operations also it has a very major, whether what kind of efficiencies we could get, whether technology transformation is required or not, whether how do we, well, today we are doing 200 crore, tomorrow we'll do 2000 crore, today we are doing 2 crores, I want to move to 100 crores. Operations cannot remain same, it need to be automized, it need to be forward looking. So what is my strategy? So a CFO will play a very important role in joining the dots over there and trying to bring a unified strategy which will overall make sense to the company. Always remember a CFO as a dot joiner will never review one department standalone. It will always have connecting points of how we reach the main strategy of the company. So any decision I want to take in sales and marketing regarding a customer insight on the marketing spends, I have to ensure that what is my long term, what is my bigger strategy. If my bigger strategy is that I need to onboard 1 lakh customers, whether the initiative that the salespeople are proposing, is it going to drive you what you are asking for? Okay. After that, what is the cost that they are saying? Is it going to be, are the customers acquisition cost going to be cost effective? Is it going to lead EBITDA? Okay. Whether is it, what is the lifetime value of that customer? So lots of things like joining the dots. So this is a case study of linking strategy with your digital initiatives, like how you can map your employee productivity with cost allocation, performance management, planning and budgeting, strategy setting. So you're linking finance with strategy and technology. So this is just a case study where how you can do waste reduction, you can do technology investment, you can drive data and analytics, you could do cloud adoption, you could do digital uploading. So lots of things that could empower a lot of cost saving as well as digital initiatives, automation, processing efficiencies, timely deliveries, and much more. So many case studies which we have is like, what is my ideal inventory? If somebody would ask you, if your client would ask you, or you're driving a company and if your owner asks you or your CEO asks you that, oh, hey, what is my ideal inventory I should keep in a company? So now, generally it would be very finance based, na, ki kitna inventory, how much you want to keep, how much is my cash flow, how much can I afford to keep, and how fast is it going to get liquidated. But on a strategic basis, you have to have a very high return on inventory, your higher sales, higher customer conversion, higher inventory turns. So more the inventory turns, the more higher returns on the inventory. Okay. So you have to target that sales, higher sales of that is also very important. Also, you have to ensure from finance and accounts whether the inventory carrying cost, ROI of the inventory, whether number of efficient overdraft rates are available, any specific loans, tracking expiry losses. Then we have to have more of customer insight on what are the type of products, the customer, how much variety he needs to see before he finalizes, how much is my repeat customer data who exactly knows what to buy, what is the cross sale that's happening. Then technology enhancements using digital inventory, whether I could show them on tabs my inventory and not keep everything physical, so that it saves a lot of money. 3D technology for customers to try on self and make a decision whether that's working out or not. Keeping an effective logistics, that's also important, because more effective logistics, less inventory you have to keep across locations because you can rotate it very quickly. Then operational efficiency, whether the logistics setup to ensure inventories is moved in minimum time on frequency, as I mentioned to you. Processing time is very efficient. Then human resource, like incentive linked to customer conversion, how much inventory aging is taken care by the sales staff, whether they are pushing the aging inventory first and trying to convert the customers, whether there is an incentive linked to the sales force for pushing more of aging inventory or not, whether that's in place or not, whether time management for inventory processing is there or not. Okay, whether inventory processing itself in the organization is taking so much time after it is received or manufactured till the time it is getting dispatched, and I'm losing my time. So how is the time management within it till the it is not in a saleable condition? So also sales and marketing, what are the focus to ensure required footfalls? Okay, then what are the impressions? What are the conversions? Whether the say website traffic with high focus on conversion is there or not? Whether the sales and marketing team KPIs are aligned with my inventory things or not? Now all these data sites, insights, I will put together and then I will analyze the inventory to ensure that which are fast moving, which are slow moving, which are this, and what are the analysis. And based on the data insights, then I will guide what is the right inventory that is to be kept. In this, I've also taken technology enhancement like showing on digital, operational efficiency, making logistic better, making processes better, so that I could, get more ideal inventory. Okay, so what is my ideal inventory will depend on a lot of factors across organization, across functions. So as a CFO, I need to define each one of them. This is just an example I created to make you all understand. So, like, what are your business queries? Usually, people will ask your business queries that we do not know if our venture is profitable. I do not have visibility of its performance. Which channel is working for me? Should I continue to bootstrap or raise money? So, these are many questions that people would be asking. And as a CFO, as a collaborative leader, your role is to join the dots of all function, bring in strategy of the business which is there along with financial expertise that you have. You have to ensure that that financial expertise is leveraged to all the functions of the department, and you collaboratively bring a very clear strategy which matches with the strategy of your organization, and you clearly have parts which will make operations more efficient, make finance more better, healthy finance, your human capital is more better, and you are ensuring that your operational efficiency is better. Technology wise, it's a forward looking approach. You have a ESG compliant, also ESG matrix laid down where you long term strategy you can list down of your company. As I mentioned to you, it is not necessary that you do everything on day one. You can have a long term strategy whereby you identify the things that are ESG compliant needs to be taken care, and you say that currently I am at this stage and year wise this is the progress that I'm going to do. So ESG matrix calendar will also be very useful. Your model that you are building in, your business model should be very agile. It should be very adaptive to changes. It should not be a very stern model where you are investing a lot of time and then you are not able to change with the rapid changes that are happening, complex changes that are happening across organizations and businesses. And the markets are also very complex. So you ensure that your models are very, very thing, very adaptable and agile. So I think I finished my presentation.
Yes, ma'am. There's no questions. Someone from WIRC, do we like chat or something like question answers are not appearing? Do we have to open the chat or something like that?
So I could give an example of how the CFO's role in developing a strategy of e-commerce goes about. I think are there any questions from people?
No, ma'am. Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, ma'am. I cannot see any questions till now.
No, but
Nor in.
hello, dear colleagues. You all have any questions? Please post it on the group, on the chat, so that we could address them.
Yeah. So there is one question from Mr. Vikram. How does a CFO role, one minute, change across industries like manufacturing, banking, service, trading, etc.?
Yeah, so a CFO's role, a very valid question, a very nice question. So a CFO role as a dot joiner will remain the same, whether it's irrespective of the industry that he is in. Only in terms of his KPIs, it will change. That what are the functions he needs to join the dots. So in services, it's going to be the services that we are taking, and it will not have any inventory. Whereas in manufacturing, you will have to deal with a lot of inventory management system, and how your how your accounting data, your point of sale data, your inventory data will talk to each other. But in a service department, it will be more of a SaaS product that you will develop as to how you make integration with the services that you are taking, and you are forwarding those services. You are, as a service provider, you are providing your services to somebody else. So how is the digital transformation there? And in a manufacturing will be very, very different. If you are an export company, it is very different. So the base role of a CFO is not going to change. It is always going to be of a dot joiner wherever. So even in service industry, you may not have the inventory part, but however, you may have a lot of human capital analysis that will go in, because service industry is directly linked with human beings being hired and giving services to outsiders. Like you will have an IT service company, you will have an HR resource company, you will have a CFO service company. You will have project management services that you give to others. So human capital, how you will digitalize that? How will you make it grow more and more AI prone, so that your workforce is lower and lower, and you are more dependent? Automation is coming into picture, and you are able to leverage the cost benefits to your clients. How globally the environment is changing. So the dot joiner role will stay the same. It's only that the KPI metrics will change based on the industry that we are operating in. Whether it's e-commerce, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's services, whether it's hospitality. So hospitality has a lot of other angles that will come in, of the angle. So if it is a food and beverage, then it's that kind of uh, KPIs that will come into picture. Then the food and beverage cost will be having to be tracked. Whether we are able to map that correctly with everything. So all your purchases will form a very important part. I hope I have Vikram answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, thanks. He has written. There is no other question, ma'am.
Okay, so as a dot joiner, there is a lot of things that one can do. Any industry specific, somebody wants any insight?
No, ma'am. I think you can suggest from your side and like, share something.
Okay. So I would say, from an e-commerce concept, a CFO needs to join the dots. So e-commerce company will have their own website. They will have third-party market sites. They will have market drivers. They will also have offline and retail sales. So as a dot connector, as a CFO, as a joining dots connector, we have to ensure that more and more work is done by technology, automation, and minimum manual intervention is taking place, so that we do not have to do a lot of reconciliations. Because what happens when your system is not talking to each other, it is having very different reconciliation challenges. If your accounting system is on its own, and your point of sale system is on its own, and your inventory system is on its own, reconciling the three of them itself is a very humanly impossible job. And when you do that also with a lot of time consumption, always there are reconciliation challenges, and it may not be as accurate as you are required to. So it is very important to ensure that your digital systems talk to each other in the maximum possible way. And I think Vikram is asking that what about the consumer goods
Consumer goods sector.
side?
Yes.
Would
Yes.
be
Yes.
consumer goods sector. So could you name a few example? Can you give a consumer goods? Can you give a few? Like I'll give you in consumer goods, it's a health sector. So if I'm giving some FMCG companies, so if I'm talking about FMCG companies, all FMCGs are maximum now trying to derive more and more health conscious food. Like Dabur is coming with health conscious snacks, and other companies are also coming with fast moving goods. So FMCG is always having a very big challenge of uh, retail network. So now that challenge has somewhat got shared with, somewhat got, I would say, reduced with digital. Now digital market has come, you can sell your goods online. So you need not, of course, retail network is still there. The challenge is there in FMCG products, but even another businessman who does not have so much of deep network investment could also start its own website and start selling these FMCG products. Okay, on its website, say I'm coming up with a healthy snack website and I create that. Now, as a CFO, what you have to see is that the company has a lot of opportunity and also a lot of strategy to grow its FMCG business by way of retail, by way of online channel, by way of putting it on third party marketplaces, by doing exhibitions, by opening its own stores. So a business is always surrounded by these questions of what should I do, where should I sell my products, how should I increase my sale, how should I increase my reach of the product, how my product will become more and more visible to people, how do I increase my volumes magnificently. So when as a CFO, what dots you have to join is you have to first have inherent risks in each channel of sale. And what are the prerequisites in each channel of sale? Like in a retail network, when you are doing network of retail, you need to have a very big distributor network. Okay, you need to work with the distributors. Also, there is a very huge challenge of finance. If I don't know if anybody has a FMCG experience, you all would have had that finance is a very big challenge. So from the time you give them the material to the time you receive the money of the goods that they have sold, FMCG challenge is always there for retail. Whereas on the website, if I'm selling, in 2 or 3 days, I'm getting back my money through the payment gateway. I'm getting instant cash. So, do I spend money in marketing more on digital, or should I put more money in developing my distribution network? But after putting that money in distribution network, also there will be finance challenges. So where do I do? Or do I do a more of those that money? Do I do more of exhibitions where I get instant money? In the 2 days exhibition, I sell this much, I get instant money, I finish it off. Again, I do 2 days exhibition, I get money, I close my stall. Or I do it, I put my own store so that brand visibility is also there. I'm able to sell properly, and whatever money is coming is immediately getting encashed. So, lot of challenges as a CFO. Your data insights will consider lot of risk inherence in each channel. What are my cash flow benefits? What are my EBITDA benefits? How much sales turnover I'm expecting from each? How these all information is scaling up into intersection and getting me the top line and bottom line I want. And based on that, it will give discussions based on the data insight with your CEO that in FMCG also, how do I go make a further progress? So Vikram, I believe that your question was answered. So I believe my other people, other participants also, I'm requesting them to also raise some questions. Let's make this a more interactive session rather than me only talking and y'all are not participating. So if there are any questions from any of you, please, most welcome. So I think by the end of this session, you all will ask me that a CFO is almost like, what is the thin line between the CEO and CFO?
Yes.
But it is that between CFO and CEO, it is that CFO is a co-creator. He is a co-creator of a business. So this line is not untrue, because it is really true, because all the things that you heard from me, that he needs to connect the joining dots from human resource to operations to marketing to digital transformation to ESG and sustainability to risk management and compliances and finance and accounts, of course, and the strategy. He is also a co-strategy partner. So with all this, of course, he's a co-creator of your business. And that is why more and more CFOs are now getting into CEO roles, because they are the best who are knowing everything about the business and making their financial acumen also leverage on those business decisions in a more detailed way, so that the business can flourish and achieve its strategical goals. So Hina,
I
you
think,
have any question?
ma'am, I have one question, whether they can like act in the way that they help businesses raise funds at the right time, like take decisions when the funds should be raised and how it should be deployed. Basically, startups usually need CFOs. So I think that is the most important decision that they have to take.
So whenever any startup is wanting to understand that right now they are bootstrapped and they want to take a decision of whether now they should raise money or they should not raise money, they should continue.
Right,
That questions we broadly need to ask is that why do they need the funds?
right,
That's number one. Some people may not need the funds, their cash flow is positive and they are growing the way they have to grow, in the sense that more they grow, their cash flow is positive, so they get money and they again put it. So you don't
right,
need for money. But there are some places like airline business where you have to pay in advance and the tickets cost later on comes. Or you are
right,
giving some debtors advances or something, you're giving them credit period. So you're not realizing your sales immediately. So there you will use a huge capital. When your cash flow
right,
is negative and you need money for your investment scaling up. So at that time you have to decide that if I'm on 1 crore right now and if I want to go to 10 crore, my working capital need is only so much, that I will need 10 crore rupees with me because it's an advance money I have to pay. Then I will get sales. After that 3 months, I will get realizable debtors.
right,
So it is how your cash flow is positive or negative. Based on that, you will have to take a decision whether I need to collect money right now or I need to collect money after I scale up to a particular level. Where you have
right,
to ask the question to your client that where are you going to where you need this money for. He will say that I need for expanding. Then you have to review his business, and if he is selling and he is receiving the money in 3 days and he's paying his vendors after 1 month, then you have to say that
right,
sir, you don't need money, because whatever you sell, say suppose now you're selling 1 crore, you get the money
right,
in 3 days. Then for that 1 crore, whatever material you have used, you are paying in 90 days. It will not be literally 90 days because there is some period of manufacture also that will happen. But I'm saying it will still be 45 days.
right,
So I'm getting my money now, I'm paying later. Why do I need more and more turnover? I can pay more and more vendors.
right,
I don't need. But if he says I want to give advances in my business, first I have to get stock on advance and then I have to sell, and then after sale my real debtors are having credit period. Then you have to understand that he's running a negative cash flow and he will need money as and when he grows. Say from 1 crore he's growing to 20 crores, he will need accordingly the money. So that is when you have to tell him that boss, if your business is already established and you have had a profitable goal and you know that money is your only thing that is coming out, then you as well leverage it from the industry. So there are lots of banks and financial institutions who give working capital management, or who give funds for working capital management, or on inventory they give returns.
right,
Okay, so on inventory also, mortgaging the inventory, they will give you the money. But if you feel that the business is risky and after expanding it may have a negative cash flow, or it may
cash flow,
run, it may not run, because we are going in new geographies and the business is a little dicey, because here in Bombay I'm established. But when I'm going to
right,
Japan, when I'm going to other states of Karnataka, Telangana, I don't know whether it will run or it will not run. then
Not
you have to tell him that, sir, you can raise equity, because equity comes with a risk. Where your money
right.
is, debt is something where you're very sure that you will get your money. But equity is coming where you don't have to immediately repay. So you could do a
Right.
lot of tests and errors. So a lot of other these decisions then allow you to advise your client in a very structured way.
Ma'am, further, can you suggest some of the areas like where they should be vigilant, because CFOs are signing the financial statements, and nowadays we are seeing lot of promoter side frauds that are happening. So they might be using the CFO as in he's just signing. He might be a paper person like. So
So,
in such cases, how the CFO should vigilantly take steps?
so what happens is that I'll tell you a recent example where even I got a client. So your
Yeah.
due diligence process has to be. I had already started actually work also for that client, and it was
Okay.
somewhere I was not able to join the dots. That he was,
Right.
having such huge office in BKC, and he was having a very, I mean, after seeing his office also, you will not imagine. So
Right.
it is like lot of things. But then, I said when I started getting into that project management work, and I
Right.
understood that there is something 1 plus 1 is not matching to 2. Okay, and then I did further due diligence of that by digitally how they are present and where they were in the past, about the founder, promoter, and all that. And when I did not get correct information, and when I did not get sufficient information, that is where I told them that I don't want to continue,
Continue. Right.
and I will want to quit. And they were ready to give me the money till what I had worked, but I said no, sorry. I don't want
Right.
any money also. I don't want from you anything also. No transaction. We'll just close it. So that happens
Right.
very rare case, but yeah, it still happens because it was an NRI customer. The client had
Yeah.
just opened up offices in India, and immediately it was in such a boom that I was wondering what happened. Like, but
Right.
I did my due diligence in the country in which he had come from, and so you need to have a very good due diligence network.
Right. So CFOs on their own should do due diligence
Of
before
course,
they
they
sign.
must. They
Yes.
must.
Yes.
It should not be a blind thing of enrolling a client on board and then
Board.
it's
Yes.
for
Yes.
them. Your due diligence has to be in place, and due diligence must be before signing the mandate. Now, in some case, the client may come in very much urgency.
Right.
Okay, and it was actually uh, referred to me
God.
by a woman CA. So
Okay.
probably even she was not aware
No.
of what the thing was. So it happens sometimes. It's a part of things. So you get reference from somebody. It's a very urgent work. You start, but don't leave your due diligence. I think that's very
Right.
important.
Yeah. So even one of my friend had the same experience. So she had even signed for 1 year, but then she realized that something is wrong and she resigned. So that is the relevant thing that nowadays we should do before we engage into such practices,
Very
because
true.
we get carried away being a CFO or something like
Correct. 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 Very true. So we have to do our due diligence very, very strongly.
that. Yes, ma'am. I
Anybody has
think
any questions? I think the women are very silent. Are they there, the women participants?
I today I thought more of men would also join this session.
I know, but
So since we don't have any questions, should we close? Yeah,
uh,
draw. Yeah.
tell me. So, who are the participants who are still there? We could ask them about their insights. Like we could ask Smita Shetty. Smita, could you tell from where you are and what are your questions? Even Setu has joined, Setu Parikh.
Kiran Mathani, Pooja is also there.
Daksha, can you all come online and speak? Vishwanath is also there. Pushkala, you want to ask something?
Pushkala ma'am, Madhavi ma'am.
Madhvi. So as a CFO dot joiner, there are lots of complex things that we need to take care also, as I mentioned to you over here,
Right.
like by way of this example. So here, what is it is that we are starting accelerating the digital enterprise. We are ensuring that first we understand what is the situation at hand. Then we are doing the proper cost allocation. We are working on employee productivity. It is going as per the planning and budgeting. We are doing a lot of performance management of how their performance will get measured and whether that will link with the strategy or not. Whatever they have performed, like we need high sales, then their incentive needs to be linked with the sale number. If they not need high customer footfall, the marketing people's KPI should be linked with more of customer insights and how that will play a very important strategy. How that will sync, the performance management will sync with strategy setting. And in that, how much is the employee productivity? What will be the cost allocation? What will be digital uploading? Whether we will use automation, we will use cloud adoption. What all transformation we will do to ensure that even the waste reduction we will do. So technology investments, what we will do. So with the technology investment, what all benefits will we achieve? We will get waste management will be reduced, digital uploading will be possible, cloud adoption will be possible, data and analytics will be more better. So this all will happen with technology investment, and that will get correlated with the strategy overall of how we are planning and budgeting, how we are doing performance, cost allocation, and employee productivity. So this is an intersection line between technology transformation and your other department operational strategies. So this line will sync over here, and we will ensure that it is moved in a way where there are no hurdles. And as a CFO, your main role is that you join the dots in such a manner that it is coming out as a unified strategy. It does not seem to be very fragmented function standing and working alone. It is a very comprehensive teamwork that comes out, and as a team you are able to define that what you are working towards and what kind of strategy that is coming up. So the marketing person will also know the top 5 things that he needs to do to go on the strategy level to sync with the company's strategy. The HR person will also come to know 5 things important that he needs to do to come to the company's strategy. Same way, operations team would know that what are the 5 things he needs to do to come to the top strategy. And this is how you will integrate digital transformation and also ensure that the systems talk to each other and you have a unified policy that is across the system and reflected in a very correct way. So linking strategy with digital initiatives is also a very important role and clearly defines that how CFO is a dot joiner. So if you keep this strategy in mind, you will come to know that CFO is a true dot joiner. He's able to join, he's able to see the bigger picture, not only the finance and accounts picture traditionally what he was supposed to see. He's able to join the dots of all the functions in the company, all actions in the company. He's able to link them with his financial acumen and able to bring a unified picture whether all the functions are deriving those kind of KPIs that are required to get the final strategy. Sorry.
Quick question on CFO service that your company provides. Can a company outsource its financials and employ CFO services to sign the account?
So the person outsourcing financials means here I am thinking that it is doing accounts, P&L, balance sheet. Outsourcing its financials is doing day-to-day accounts. Is that correct? So you have to keep two different teams within the CFO services. Like I do not sign any audit. So I am on board for all clients where I provide my CFO services. Also, many of them I provide outsourcing accounting services, compliance services. So I have my divisions very separate and I do not do any audit signing. Because if you are writing the accounts, if your company is responsible for advising or writing the accounts in finance and accounts, you cannot be the auditor.
Right.
So within your organization, you need to keep a clear bifurcation of the CFO services and who will sign the accounts. It cannot be the same.
Same. Okay. No other questions.
Correct. And CFO services also, it's like on advisory. One is advisory that you work with the client's team, and
Right.
others is that you're providing outsourcing and accounting compliance services as well as you're providing your advisory. And I believe that many members are also in the industry working as a CFO.
Right.
So I was expecting many industry-based questions, but they have not come in today. Actually, I kept more time for interaction. I thought that more interaction we can do will help us more derive at a value than me talking alone. So, as I mentioned to you all that the CFO is a dot joiner. You can see
Right.
that how it has interwoven each and every function. It is interwoven, like each function is interwoven to the other. It is not independent. So the finance and risk will overlap the strategy. Whenever you're building any strategy, the risk and finance legal decisions will overlap. And also the finance decisions will overlap technology decisions. Technology decisions will overlap the sales and marketing. So each decision is overlapped to other functions. So no decision can be taken only seeing that operations, only that department. All functions are interwoven. And even in human resources, you can see that how you can digitally transform the recording of your human resource performance so that you could track them in a more efficient way and link it with the objectives that they are basically judged by, their performance is evaluated by, and how employees also can clearly see that so that they can improve in the meantime on a very corrective, timely basis so that your organization moves on a more performance enhanced manner. You are not getting any surprises and shocks. Neither your employees are getting any surprises and shocks. So you bring technology angle to human capital. So everything becomes very clear. Your company objective and your human resource development, what are your performance areas, how you have performed, your performance tracking matrix is in front of you. Everything is very transparent. This builds a lot of trust in the company. Once a trust is established, then the employee will even lay his life for you. He will ensure that he maximum does everything. So it's a transformative thing, that you're trying to build a very comprehensive environment around you.
Ma'am, can I ask about one sector like microfinance institutions or NBFCs, if you say?
Yes.
There is a lot of divisions. Like on the field level, there would be credit officers, then there would be collection centers, and then in turn they would have a branch head or something. After that, they will have their own AVPs, VPs, and then at the end maybe CFO. Matlab, after and they have like all over India they have their centers. So here finance plays a very big role. So in such cases, how a CFO should keep a watch or play his roles and responsibilities properly?
So in NBFCs, the CFO has a very, very critical role. First of all, though, he should vouch on the systems. He should do a thorough IT audit on the systems that they are relying for approving the credit. Because
Right.
NBFCs, microfinance companies are giving money on credit. So what are the systems that they are doing their due diligence? Because if you want to give a credit to me, you must have done certain the parameters, like you would have taken my Aadhaar card and PAN card,
KYC.
KYC, and from there you would have searched what is my CIBIL score and what are my other things and how much credit card money I have used in a year and lots of other data. So all
Right.
this, they have used some digital system to understand my creditability and only
Correct.
arrive at the decision. So a CFO's primary role is first to see whether those systems are really performing the way they should perform, or are there any
Right.
misups in that? Because if there are misups in that, then your complete company business only is on a very weaker platform.
Correct.
Recently that has come to a light.
Right. That
Microfinance.
is the reason I asked, because it was more into newspapers right now.
Yes. So, more of your NBFCs were using IT systems which were not reliable at all. Those softwares nobody had challenged, nobody had spoken, nobody had.
Right.
But what is the CFO's role? CFO has to see कि मेरा धंधा कहाँ से चल रहा है. Main तो ये पैसा जा रहा है. If it converts into bad debts, it's a direct impact to my EBITDA.
Right.
So the systems that I'm relying on, whether they are correctly audited or not.
Or not.
And a CFO is not required to know the system inside out. He's having to keep expert IT people to audit it. But from a user interface, he could give conditions. He could
Correct.
find out whether if I have a low CIBIL score, whether it's showing the right output, whether I have low this, is it showing the right thing? Whether if I have not bought a car in the last 10 years, whether it's showing a correct. So all the parameters that have the business has defined that I should know about a person before approving the microfinance, from a user perspective, the CFO can check. And he can put an IT person who is expert to go through the programming thing.
Right.
And ask him that these all tests that I want to do. So he could give the samples of how he wants to check. Combinations and permutations. Then second, in a microfinance, very important is that wherever you are having bad debts,
right,
then what are the measures the company is taking to do it, and how fast is it getting realizable? Is there a market value for the bad debts? Can you sell off the bad debts to somebody, and rather than you investing in the bad debts, can you sell it off at 50% to somebody and take the money upfront? Or what is it? Also, secondly, is that in microfinance, when you're deciding on the rate, what rate I have to give to my clients, a CFO plays a very important role to see if he has inbuilt any risk percentage for bad debts. So out of 100 loans, if my 10 loans are going to go bad, then 10% margin I need to inbuild as a contingency reserve. 1% is going to go back, 1 rupee I have to reserve as my thing. So the CFO is very important in deciding कि मेरे को पैसा कितने में मिल रहा है, मैं कितने में दे रहा हूँ, मैंने risk inherent का percentage डाला है कि नहीं, bad debts का, मैंने सब comprehensive लिया है कि नहीं. By giving this rate, am I not making a loss?
Right.
I am covering everything. So this is the role of a CFO. He will have an equal part to say that we can only afford in 14%. We cannot afford in 13%.
Understood.
So this is the role of a CFO is very critical in NBFC also. Microfinance also. It has to see from the core of where I'm getting the business, what percentage I'm giving the money, and then what is my net profit, EBITDA, and where is my major expense if I have to do insurance, if I have to do reinsurance. All those costs have also got built up in the premium.
Right.
Correct?
Correct, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
And if you are even borrowing at a little higher, say, volumes than what you are doing, then those higher volumes may come at a different cost.
Okay.
So when you are leveraging the rates, you have to tell them that, see, our threshold is this much. If you are higher borrow, this is lending, sales is happening, then our finance will be at this cost.
Okay.
All
Yes.
those parameters also the CFO has to be very vigilant to put it in the dashboard
Right.
so that the business is very clear how it is managing.
Correct.
So microfinance also very important role. CFO has a role in every company, every business.
Every time.
Its financial acumen knowledge is very important.
Questioning mind, and that is also very
Yeah,
important.
you need to have an inquisitive mind. You need to challenge the obvious. You need to be a team player. You need to be very collaborative. And as a collaborative leader, you need to take every function from a finance angle. I know many companies where I go as a CFO and I say that I want to meet your operations team. They will think that why does a CFO need in operations? But
Right.
very important how your operations team is behaving, how they are efficient, what kind of matrix they are having, so that the entire company's efficiency will depend on how operations is performing. So every department is very important and every function is important, and you have to interlink all those functions. And that is the main role of a CFO. A CEO will typically see from a growth perspective. He wants to grow
Right.
from 1 to 100, 100 to 1000. That is his, as a CEO, he needs to build up a business. But as a CFO, you need to build a profitable business sustainably way and scalable way. So
That
that's
is
the
why
way
you
it
have
is.
mentioned it is co-partnering the business.
Yes. So it's a co-creator with the CEO. That a CFO is in joint hands, and as the CEO takes the company ahead in the flagship of from one geographical location to 10 geographical locations, from expanding one business development to 10 business developments, from creating one product to 50 products. All this the
Right.
CEO is leading. So at the same time, it is backed by CFO's financial acumen and decision intersecting with all the functions where efficiency meets with automation, and the CFO transforms the business by while achieving the CEO's goals. So it
Right.
supports him in every possible way of efficiency. Then only today's complex business can have a profitable business. Otherwise, in this today's complex era, EBITDA positive is very difficult to happen.
Correct.
Only with the CFO's conscious efforts and with the finance conscious effort, you can achieve a profitability with sustainability and scalability.
And therefore, if a CFO fails, I think a business would fail at the end.
Yes, so a CFO has to be, he's a very important person who needs to understand the 360 degrees of a business. And he
Correct.
needs to be very finely woven in the system. He cannot be somebody who has just been in an external party kind of sitting in the finance and accounts department and getting all information on audit basis, post happening. He has to get all information pre happening.
Correct.
And he will earn respect when he will do a lot of data analytics. He will get more data insights. At that time, people in other departments will also listen to him.
Right.
Otherwise, they will not listen. But if I get you a lot of human resource insights of what is your top management, what is your mid-level management cost, what is your breakup of the lower management, how much function is taking how much time, what inventory has taken how much of operational consumption. When I sit with a lot of data analytics, it is at that time that the other department people will also look at you with respect and want to work with you collaboratively to get their department to a more better position. So it's a very joint effort between everybody. Joint effort between all the functions. So Bhavna ma'am, can we end the session? Because I don't think anybody wants to still ask any questions. Vikram, you want to ask something? I've listed over here the actions that a CFO needs to take to ensure that it is joining the dots, and he or she is the key driver of overall business success. So what all the things they need to do? Like I told you, performance management and KPIs are very, very important. Linking the disparate areas is very important. Integrate financial insight, very important. Joining various data sets, very important. And connecting various business functions. That's also very important. Bhavna ma'am?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah. Sorry, I lost the connection.
problem. So I just said that if anybody has any more connections or questions, or
Question.
we
Yeah.
could.
Questions. There is no other question, ma'am. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So can we like move towards vote of thanks?
Yes,
Because
yes, yes, we must, because only 7 minutes are left.
yeah. So, ma'am, first of all, I have heard your earlier sessions as well. So, I would like to thank you for always being a regular speaker at WIRC.
Thank you.
And it's always been an insightful session, and you have always been motivating. And like you have started the way you started this session, also, it was encouraging. Or you can say motivating, inspiring the women by stating them as wonderpreneurs for women entrepreneurs. So I really loved the way you started, and that is I would like to like give a heartfelt gratitude to you for always being there and inspiring us. And I would, even though Bhavna ma'am and Shweta ma'am is not here, I would like to acknowledge them for their gracious introduction and setting the tone for today's session, so ensuring that it was a smooth session. Further, I would like to thank all our participants who have made to this event, and it was a great success. I really learned many things from this session. So I would look forward always, ma'am, for attending your sessions.
Thank
Uh,
you so
Ma'am,
much.
someone is asking, can we get the recordings for this session? I think that WIRC we will have to ask.
Madhavi, you can get only if you ask a question. You did not interact. Madhavi,
Right, ma'am, right. Madhvi, ma'am, we will ask WIRC. I think it gets posted on their website. From there, we can get it.
sure.
So,
Madhavi,
yes.
I'm glad that you are interested in the recording.